There's a latest update on the election. Our Colleen Marshall is in the newsroom with the very latest. You've been tracking this down. What do we have now, Colleen?
We have a political battle brewing right now, you guys, and I've been on the phone for the past 2 hours tracking down this information. As you know, the governor was pushing very, very strongly to have this election moved until June 2nd. They went to court over that yesterday. They lost in the Common Pleas Court. The judge said they were not going to allow that to happen. And then late last night, after 10 o'clock, we had the order issued by the health director that the election was going to be delayed and that people could not go to the polls today because there was a medical crisis. Well, it's my understanding that there is going to be a lawsuit filed after 7:30 this evening. And the claim in this lawsuit is going to be that the election day came and went, that this is the primary election day for the state of Ohio, and the fact that voters could not go to the polls has nothing to do with the fact that the day came and went. And the people who are going to be pushing this lawsuit will argue that the votes that have been cast so far should be all the votes that matter. So if you got an early voting in, or if you mailed in your ballot, that those votes will count, and that'll be the end of the primary election in Ohio. Obviously, that is going to be vigorously opposed by the governor, by the Secretary of State, by the Democratic Party, likely by the Republican Party. There is a small faction, I've told, of candidates coming who are going to file this lawsuit. They happen to be Republican, but I'm not sure that the party itself is going to back them on that. We do know that members of the House and Senate were angry last night because it was only 5 minutes before that emergency order was issued by Dr. Acton that they were informed that this was going to happen. Until that point, they thought it was going to be election day today. So there is a battle brewing. Likely a lawsuit will be filed today, either late tonight or first thing in the morning, challenging the election results and the fact that it's being pushed. I also know that Democrats don't want it to be pushed out till June 2nd. They're going to intervene in whatever lawsuit is being argued and say that it should be in April, be moved up a little bit more. But they do realize that 7 million Ohioans, that's the estimate, would have likely voted today, and they would be denied that right if whoever this plaintiff is in the lawsuit is successful. So it's a little complicated, but the reality is, while everyone's worried about the coronavirus, there is an underlying political argument that could determine whether or not your votes count.
Yeah, and it is a litigious society, as we know, Colleen. This may be the first of many lawsuits of people playing back and forth. Is there any belief from the people that you've talked to that this has any strength in legal standing going to the courts after 7:30 tonight?
I'll tell you why I think that the state and the people who were trying to delay the election till June 2nd on a health crisis basis, I think they might be concerned because I think they were surprised when the court ruled against them yesterday. The Franklin County Common Pleas Court that heard the filing on behalf of a couple of voters who were elderly women who said they were concerned about going to the polls. They became the plaintiffs that kind of represented all the voters in the state who hadn't been able to vote yet. And I think that the state, that the governor, I believe that they thought this was going to be much easier than it was. They wanted that legal standing to have a court say, yes, you have the authority and the right to delay this election till June 2nd. They didn't get that. And so now when they find out a new lawsuit is going to be filed and it's essentially going to say you can't hold the primary after today, they have a lot of concern because they don't have the legal standing to say we went to a court, we got the approval of the court, because they didn't get the approval of the court.
All right, Colleen Marshall from the Watch 4 desk there in the newsroom here at NBC4. Thank you so much. And of course, the next step on this, you said possibly a lawsuit at 7:30. We appreciate that. We appreciate you for joining us here on